Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, it's the Roebuck rut, and this is our Roebuck special with no less than 4 outings after Britain's best looking deer, including one with Simon Barr from Realtree. And if your Team GB flag waving arm is tired out and you're all rowed out, well, top shooters Andy Crow and Dom Holtam are pike fishing. First, it's roe. As a point of reference to all those roe stalkers, we are out in Hampshire on the 23rd of July. It's been a stinking hot day and the hope is the roe are feeling frisky, and they're not the only ones.
This is my favourite time of the year, and it's when everything starts to happen. We're still just at the start of the rut, so we're not really sort of kicking in yet, well, not that we've seen, but we're hoping we might see a bit of action tonight. You tend to find that the best results come when you've got nice muggy conditions. You need it warm, but when it's this hot, the deer tend to lie up a little bit and can even go nocturnal and rut through the night rather than come out in the heat of the day.
Bucks have been seen on this part of the farm, so if they're receptive, Roy has the tools to get them fired up. We call for a good minute or so with nothing happening. Then a doe with kid in tow wants to have a closer look.
Here we go. Here she comes. So as I say, she's got a kid with her, but she's just coming down to have a look. I don't really want to upset her too much. I could do without her barking too much. But we've got the wind just crossing, so it'll be interesting in a minute because she's going to cross our wind. So here she comes. There we go, she's just seen us there. So, I mean, she came to within about 30 yards of us then. But obviously we're just sitting out on the edge here, so we weren't overly well concealed, but I didn't want to disturb her too much. I wasn't going to push the point, because obviously if she starts barking, and it could erupt anybody else or any other deer in the area. So yeah, I mean, it often works that when you get the, as I say, when you get the does moving like that, then it kicks the bucks into action as well.
So there are deer here, it's just whether the timing is right. A little further on and another doe lifts her head. Again Roy takes it easy so as not to spook any unseen animals. She heads for the cover in the block of woodland, closely followed by her kid. It is such a joy to see wildlife which has had a momentary lapse in concentration. The fear gene has temporarily disengaged.
The interesting thing there was she was on her own, couched up with a kid at foot. So I would say that, you know, at the moment they're not really firing up and doing much. I mean, that can change, you know, hour by hour and with deer by deer. So, you know, I reckon hopefully as the evening comes on, things will start to move. Well, that's what I hope anyway, but best laid plans of mice and men.
There's been a sad lack of bucks this evening until we decide to start driving out to one last area. This big boy appears. A few blasts of the call gives us nothing. If this were a bloke, he'd be off for a swift half with his mates. He's not found his mojo for the ladies yet. He's a buck Roy has had his eye on. Roy has to drive off before temptation and his trigger finger get the better of him. Roy reckons he's only seen one buck better than him in the last 10 years, and he's hanging on the wall at home.
Don't, it's torment. That is absolute torture having to come away from him. He was absolutely stunning, but as I said before, it just wouldn't have been fair to shoot him now. So you could see by his body shape that he was still a very young animal, and he's still got a lot of potential for a couple of years. So we'll leave him to and let him pass on his genes. Please don't film me, I'm going to cry.
So a tough decision, but a great evening. Calling roe is exhilarating, and sometimes one has to dig deep and make the right call. 5 days later we are back again, same ground, lower temperature and muggier conditions. We're also late thanks to the M25 on a Friday night, so we have to get cracking.
what I want to try and do is try and spot a buck and call and just see if we get any reaction, because that'll just give us a little bit more faith that the rut's on and something's happening. As I say, you would have thought by now that we should be in the full swing of things, but that's the thing with dealing with nature and animals, you just never know, do you?
The first roe we see is a female. Roy gets her interested and she drops back into the woodland. He's hopeful she'll pop out of this end with buck close behind, but nothing. We are really starting to think the rut has still not kicked in here. We walk for at least 20 minutes and it's our last blast. Disappointed, he starts to drop the rifle. But look what's charging towards us from the rear. We follow the big buck, but Roy doesn't want to head shoot an animal of this size.
That's a buck.
He realises the smaller animal he was pursuing wasn't a doe as we assumed, but a young buck.
You want it?
The animal's dropped on the spot and is just the sort of buck we were after.
Blimey, didn't that happen quick? That was absolutely awesome. So we were calling here, expecting some action. And we were, again, right on the last knockings, and thinking that the deer were going to just trickle out. And bearing in mind, our scent is blowing directly towards that wood that those deer just came from. And I think what's actually happened there with our calling, we've rattled the buck in that wood. We were just about to go over there and give him a call. And that's rattled him up and started him getting really full on. And he's chased that younger buck all the way across, right down towards us, straight past us within about 10 yards. I thought it was a doe going through it at first because it was only a little spiker, and was just trying to see what sort of quality the buck was that chased him to see if we could do anything. But he wasn't offering a good shot, and he disappeared back off into his territory. And looked round, and it had stopped the little buck where we were calling, and he was looking at us. When I moved the rifle round, then he went again, and just managed to stop him a couple of times just before he went into the maze there, and we got the shot off. But it just goes to show, doesn't it, it's always worth persevering. But it's definitely the start of things to come. Superb, and that is absolutely perfect as a cull animal. So you can see he's only got single spikes, so you know, as a young animal, that's the last thing you want playing around, because I mean obviously he's not going to be fighting or really putting up a fight against a big boy, but when they've got single spikes like that, it's not very good, because when they're fighting with other bucks, there's nothing to stop the antlers, so those spikes can go through and damage the other deer quite easily. So absolutely perfect cull animal. So just what we come out for tonight, and couldn't be any happier with that. And I hope that really comes out well, because that was just amazing watching him come running down there. It was like thunder with those two coming through the crop and running past us. And I mean, yeah, superb reaction. So as I say, I mean, we've got 10 minutes before dark, and all of a sudden things are just starting to pick up and happen.
It has been a magical couple of days, especially as we've seen the build-up to the rut, as well as the reaction to when the call suddenly gets everyone revved up, buck and big boys alike. Roy there, pulling one out of the bag. Now, if you like shooting, you'll love the shooting show. You can see a clip of it appearing in the sky just there. Click on it on YouTube and you can go and watch it. Next, it's David on the Fieldsports channel, News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Britain News. There are calls for the black grouse to be shot again. Writer and farmer Patrick Lorry told Scotland on Sunday that the birds, which are currently subject to a voluntary shooting ban, should be shot to help stabilise the moorland population. Red grouse are thriving, while black grouse are not seen as worth cultivating because they cannot be hunted. Basque cautiously backs Lorry. The RSPB is, of course, dead against him. The Countryside Alliance has launched a new online shop. It features goods from small rural businesses right up to high street names such as Cath Kidston. Every purchase you make from it includes a small donation to the CA's campaigns. Visit countrysidemarketplace.co.uk. There's a new super cheap shotgun in the country. Just £499 secures the new Revo over and under from Turkey.
I'm more than confident this product will stand up to everyday demand, from the gamekeeper to the pigeon shooter to the gentry using it on a pheasant shoot.
And finally, actor Willem Dafoe had to gralloch a wallaby for his latest blockbuster, The Hunter. He said it was so bloated, it almost exploded in his face. The 56-year-old actor plays the role of a man who must find and kill the last Tasmanian tiger. In one scene, he had to skin a wallaby, and he claims he had to be delicate with the carcass in case its gastric juices burst. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Britain News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts. Stay with us now for Calendar with the map that matters. Welcome to Calendar, here with some important dates for the diary and seasonal reminders. The moon is waxing gibbous full tomorrow, 2nd of August, with the spring tides over the weekend. The good weather has seen the crops starting to come off, and with that comes plenty of shooting opportunities. Cut grass means rabbits and foxes, as does the stubbles. Rape is starting to come off, and there are also opportunities on the fallen crops, and we'll be bringing you a big day with Mark Gilchrist next week. On to hares, and the Pigeon Watch Forum points out you can sell hares from the 1st of August in Scotland, but if they're brown hares, you better have had them in your freezer since before the 1st of February. The brown hare can only be taken in Scotland between the 1st of February and the 30th of September by licence. For mountain hares, the closed season is 1st of March to 31st of July. And finally, on the fishing front, the forums report improving salmon runs throughout Scotland and Ireland. That was this week's Calendar. If you want to be on the map that matters next week, drumming up interest for your event, talk to James. James at fieldsportschannel.tv.
Now, Simon Barr from Realtree is out after Roebuck.
At last, there's a break in the weather after months of rain. I'm hoping with the sun coming out and the temperature rising, one of the most exciting times of the year will commence, the roe rut. I'm on my way to meet Realtree Pro staff member Trevor Hughes. He's been a professional stalker in this part of Berkshire for 30 years and has a wealth of knowledge on all things deer. He invites me to test my Zero on his range on some local farmland. I'm also going to test a few other things for this evening. Some are tried and tested, others a bit more high-tech. I've had a number of phone calls to say the roe rut has started, and I've come down to go out stalking with my friend Trevor Hughes to see whether or not it has. I've got a number of my trusty roe calls with me to try out. People may well be familiar with the Bootaloo, perhaps less familiar with the Nordic roe call. This is a very special little call that's been fashioned out of a roe antler that a little Bavarian man made me last year, and the cherrywood, a classic cherrywood. We're going to give them all a go, and we've got a couple of other techniques we're going to try this evening to see if we can outfox the deer. Outfoxing is the name of the game, and outfox is the name of the gear. This evening, we're going to be wearing and testing the German clothing company's scent-suppressing filter technology. I want to find out for myself if their hunting suits really do reduce your scent signature. I've studied plenty of roe at this time of year, and Trevor and I should be able to identify any change in their behaviour. Trevor, we've arrived at the first woodland. It's the right sort of time. How are we going to approach this woodland, and what are we going out for?
This is a small block of wood with a field in between two blocks of wood, if you like.
Yeah.
So we're going to go and sit on the, stalk our way through, sit on the field and get the calls out and see if we can call a roebuck or two in.
And traditionally we would be stalking with the wind on our face.
Exactly.
How about we try something different this evening?
That sounds good to me. I'm always up for something new.
Excellent. We all get kitted up in outfox, even the cameraman. The carbon filter technology was originally developed for the military, so how will this cutting-edge kit help the traditional stalker? Does it really work, and how does it work?
It's a perfect day to try it, because you know, we will have the opportunity to go and stalk today, and today we will really don't care about the wind, because Actually, this filters, the one we have in our clothing, is full of tiny carbon beads, and this tiny carbon beads will help us to trap our odors. So with this system being totally covered, we can reduce 95% of our odors.
95%?
Yes, sir. And this means that we really don't care about the direction of the wind, and this is really something new since hunting is existing.
So this is the next big thing in hunting?
It is.
Checking the wind is on our backs, which felt a little strange, we head through the wood and past the rearing pens, out onto open fields on the other side. This is just what we're looking for. The wind is on our backs, pushing across the field. We're going to stop and do a little bit of cooling here. It looks really promising. It's really sticky and hot. I think this is perfect for cooling, but the wind is on our backs, so we'll see how we do. Immediately, a doe and a kid lift their heads out of the crop 100 yards from us. As I intensify the call, she starts coming towards us. I bring her closer, then she dives into the wood. Moments later, she is behind us. Then she bolts out of the wood to our left. She's done a full 360. I've seen deer moving around during the rut before, but that was very different. That was very, very different. We were out in the complete open, but she could not smell us. She could see our forms. There were 3 of us, 4 including the cameraman, and it didn't bother her at all. So we started calling her there, and then we called again, and she's literally gone
right the way round. Quite amazing.
And normally in that situation, they get your scent
and they're gone.
And they're gone.
Absolutely.
But she was trying to check us out, wasn't she?
Absolutely.
She could see us, but she couldn't smell us. So all the dots didn't join up on that one.
No, quite.
Amazing, absolutely.
I mean, if that's down to the kit, I am very, very impressed.
We move up to the next field and get ourselves set up. Once again, the call gets an instant reaction, but it's another doe. She's indecisive too, heading off before coming back for another look. They really are magnificent looking animals. The green crop emphasises their rich chestnut summer coat. Running out of options, Trevor takes me to another block of ground, and for the first time we spot a buck. But as there are 4 of us stalking together, we bump him. Finally saw a buck. He was lying in the margin between the corn and the stinging nettles, saw us, gone, completely skylined. I don't think any bit of clothing or any scent reducing technology could help you in that situation. You can't help when you're skylined, so unless you can get an invisibility cloak, I think we weren't going to be able to do anything there. So we better crack on because the light's fading and we need to get something before we finish this. So I'm starting to think the rut hasn't quite got underway. Before heading into the wood, we call another doe. With darkness only half an hour away, Trevor puts me on top of a favourite spot overlooking a valley where I've taken deer before. A call attracts another animal. We don't know what it is, but it's very noisy. After that, my calling is in vain with everything sitting tight. The proper start of the rut could be a few hours away, but I'm convinced the Outfox gear has helped us get closer to the animals and have longer engagements with them. I can't wait to experiment with it some more. Brilliant evening, as always. Learnt lots this evening. Stalking's a wonderful thing to do. Watching the does at this time of year reacting like they do. I think probably the best thing to do is to leave it a few days and then come back out again, perhaps.
I think you're absolutely right.
And that's exactly what I do. I'm now a few miles away in Hampshire with Realtree Pro staff member Owen Beardsmore of Service UK. This time, from a high seat, we managed to get a response from a beautiful old buck who appears over 400 metres away. He comes across the fresh-cut hayfield in the hazy morning light towards the call. As he gets closer, I realise quite how good he is. This could possibly be the best buck of my life. That is superbly dark. He's actually just a 5-pointer, but he's thick. I've never seen pearling like it. That is a really strong buck. An absolute beaut. This time of year really takes some beating. I can see why roe are so highly regarded by stalkers and hunting enthusiasts the world over. If you like this, coming soon is a dedicated YouTube channel for Realtree UK where you'll be able to find this film and all of our previous films. You can also watch my hunting buddy Ian on Team Wild TV and see what he's been up to this week.
Now, if you enjoyed that, you might like some of our other Roebuck calling films, one of which is appearing there in the sky beside me. Click on it if you're on YouTube and you can watch it. Next, Kit Special. Just one item this week from Scott Country, the superb Spy Point HD10. Find out what's visiting your pheasants, passing your high seat, or even dumping on your doorstep. It includes a 4GB SD card and trail cam pod. It also has a strap for mounting to a tree. It runs up to 90 days on AA batteries or lithium rechargeable battery. scottcountry.co.uk, £249.95, and it's HD as these otters show. That's it. Feast your eyes, fish into your pockets if the website asks you. The promo code is Fieldsports. Thanks for watching. This is Kit Special. We do lots on kit, some of it in-depth reviews. You might like to watch this clip that's appearing up here of the Polaris RZR. Click on it on YouTube, you can watch it. Or stay with us and watch Andy Crow and Dom Holtam going after the British equivalent of Jaws. Like many outdoor activities over the summer, fishing has taken a bit of a bashing. This is Buell Water, one of the southeast's biggest reservoirs. We were here in April filming the restocking in the sun with a hosepipe ban in place. Now look at it. The hosepipe ban has gone, and so sadly have the fishermen. But the fisheries manager here has decided to open the floodgates and allow any method fishing. Well, within reason.
With the diminishing number of fishermen that we're seeing, we, to put it bluntly, are trying to get more bums on seats. So we have opened up the fishing from purely fly fishing to any method, which will include spinning, worm fishing, maggot, soft pellets. So it's opening it up to a lot more people, basically.
Today, sporting shooter editor Dom Holtam, without bow, and the housewife's choice Andy Crow are heading off for a morning's fishing. Crow and Dom are keen fishermen, but today Crow is going to keep to traditional fly fishing and Dom is going off-piste and is spinning. But which is better?
I'll do a bit of trout fishing, but this man here reckons he's going to beat me today. He's going to go for the spinning technique. I'm going to go for the fly. Well, hopefully I'll whip his backside, as they say. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Dominic, how are you feeling? Well, actually, that's not quite what he says. Is not quite true. I have a theory that a talented fly fisherman is going to still get superior results to an idiot using any method. Me. So people just assume that you use a spinner, you're going to catch more fish than if you're using the fly. So we're going to try the two different techniques today and hopefully find a scientific result for you.
While they set sail for a man-off, we are going to concentrate on catching a pike with expert rod Rob Dixon. The pressure is on as he caught this 26.5 pounder last week.
Well, it's an exciting fish, you know, you just don't know how big, you know, they go. They're sort of a fish of myth and legend and folklore, so I find that exciting. We don't stock them, so they're a wild fish in the reservoir, and they fight quite hard as well, so they're good fun. I was lucky enough to catch one of 41 pound in the winter. To most pike anglers, that's, you know, the fish of their dreams, and I've had quite a few over 20 on the lures as well, and days where you've had a lot of medium-sized fish, just a good sporting day. It's about as much as you can ask for, really.
The high water levels mean that a lot of the fry are hiding in the margins, and that is where Rob is concentrating his efforts to start with. With no nibbles, we move across to another possible hotspot. Rob is having no luck in the shallow water, so starts casting into the deeper stuff. And hey presto, we strike pike.
I had to take and follow, and I put on a smaller lure, expecting it to be a perch, and I think I've got a little pike. That's quite a nice pike, it's just not fighting very hard.
What sort of size would you reckon?
It's about 6 pounds, it's quite fat, or she. Wasn't going to get off very easily. Yeah, good condition, got a few fish lice on it.
It's a tiddler by Rob and Buell's standards, but it's an impressive fish all the same.
Let's see if there's another one now. Good old Baltic, old-fashioned spinner.
A fly fisherman can travel quite light, but a pike fisherman is likely to get hit with excess baggage. Look at this lot. Some of the tools of the trade look big enough to catch a whale. Rob talks lures.
There's ones that look like frogs. This is just got a little propeller on the back and wiggles along the top. It looks like a swimming mouse. This one again has got a big propeller. They all fish right in the surface when the pike are really up. And these are the bigger spinners, bigger version of what we're using today. This is normally what you'd be catching them on this time of year. Fish very quickly, as fast as you can wind it in, they'll be chasing them.
So why aren't we using those then, Rob?
Because the water's not warm enough and the pike just aren't behaving like that yet. I'd give one a go if I was getting action, but we're just trying to find the pike that are feeding at the moment.
Of course, big pike and young bite-sized trout are not a particularly healthy mix, and back in the 1980s, gill netting pulled out about 10 tonnes of pike over a couple of winters. But these days, pike fishing is a sport in its own right.
That's about, I'd say, 7, maybe 8 pound. It's probably going to bite me now.
Are you able to bring it out for me or not?
I'll hold it over the water in case it... There we are. He didn't like the camera.
Time to catch up with Dom and Andy, and it looks as if there's a fish supper on the cards for one of them.
The scientific experiment has been quite conclusive so far, with a proviso. Definitely been more action on the spinners than there has on the fly, but Andy's excuse is that we are fishing places where we are less likely to catch trout. So once we finish this drift, we're going to shift and go, pretend that I'm not fishing at all, and go and fish places where Andy's confident he can catch on the fly. So he's hoping for a reversal of fortune in the afternoon, but he's not happy.
No, I've had a good day, but the thing is, I've been fishing with Dom. He's a bit of a competition. He doesn't like losing, so he pugged us up under some bushes and there's about 6 inches of water, and the old trout ain't in that 6 inches. That's where all the coarse fish are, so that's why he's beat me. But it'll all be changing in a minute. We're going around the cages and I expect I'll whip his backside. That's what I intend to do anyway. So.
About the same size.
Buell, like other businesses, is having to adapt to the economic climate, but any method is broadening horizons and delivering some exciting and impressive fish. This is Dom's catch of the day, which was definitely in the mid-teens. Of course, Andy was very pleased for him. Unusual to see Andy and Dom by the water. Their natural environment is the pigeon hide, and you can click on this pigeon shooting film on YouTube and go and watch it. Next, we're going international. It's Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting, shooting and fishing videos that YouTube has to offer. Top news this week is that Norwegian backwoodsman Christopher Clausen has launched a hunting TV show. Episode 1, Hunting Red Stag and Hunting in Africa, is 21 minutes long and features hunting for red stag, yeah, seen it before, and crucially, the famous Norwegian model Anne-Marie Olsen hunting in Africa. Proof, if you needed it, that there is a God. Back to planet Earth, and we are pigeon shooting on wheat with tweeds and pheasants, whom we featured last week, but sends this in because it is a record day for him of 102 pigeons and 6 crows. I don't mean to be greedy, but please could you post the vid, he pleads. Sure can. Another video sent in by our viewer this week is pigeon and corvid shooting over barley stubble. Total bag is 103, including 47 pigeons, 38 jackdaw, 13 rooks and 5 crows. Ollie Feltham is one of the guns. He says, "We know it is very amateur, but it's our first attempt and we would feel honoured if you could show it." No, Ollie, we. are honoured. In the world of fishing, this year's good run of salmon is celebrated in this film by Salmon Fishing Bob from the Tay in Perthshire, Scotland. Tom Jennings lands 3 summer salmon on the Pitlochry Benchill, or is that Benchill Beats of the Lower Tay at Stanley. On a quirkier note, this week sees a fishing world record shattered in America, Natch. On Saturday 28th July 2012, Jeff Kolodzinski officially broke the Guinness World Record for most fish caught in a continuous 24-hour period. He hauled in 2,270 sea fish, including sunfish, crappies and bass. Yeehaw! Air Rifle Rabbit Hunting 9 does what it says with Ultra Hawk 1 using his HW100 in 177. And if you wanted proof that the roe rut is on in Yorkshire, Yorkshire roe stalking is back with a rutting buck shot with a 30.06. That's a round you may consider better suited to wild boar. We're in Poland here with Greg Loginway for his first boar of 2012. He sees a few pigs, but mainly females with young. He shoots one later in the film again with a 30.06, a black and white male of about 45 kilograms. You can click on any of these films to watch them. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, we're back next week, and if you're watching this on YouTube, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button somewhere around the outside of the screen, or go to our shows page, www.youtube.com/show/Fieldsports Britain. You can subscribe to just this show there, or go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. Scroll down to the bottom, put your email address into the constant contact form for us to contact you constantly, or click to like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter, same place. There is so much to look forward to in the next few weeks. We've got the grouse shooting season opening on the 12th of August, the glorious 12th, our 3rd birthday. We have Olympic gold next week. Oh yes we do. And Scottish Highland deer stalking is not far away. This is Fieldsports Britain.